My name is Sydney Southam. I made That's Why I Like It. It's the one with the butts. We just watched it.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. I'm Rheanna. I directed Seresa 26 and co-shot and edited it.
I'm Meeshelle Neal, and I directed Check.
I'm Tracy Varju. I wrote, produced, and starred in Check.
I'm Gloria. I directed All Happened Before.
I'm Tina Korki. I wrote and directed Intimate Fears.
I'm Amanda Konkin. I produced Intimate Fears.
I'm John Graham. I edited and sound designed Intimate Fears.
And basically like post-production producer. So.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, so what we'll do, we wrote down some questions. So we'll ask some questions and we'll also open it up to the audience. And you can ask some questions too. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. One question that just came up for me actually watching, or actually it was more of an observation, and I don't know. Yeah, with the last film. Sorry, I always just remember the butts.
It's hard to forget.
That wasn't my comment though. It's one of the women said that she liked being objectified, and that really stood out for me. And this isn't so much. It's not a question. This is a comment. Or maybe it is a question. Did any other women say that? Was that a common thing? Did that become like a big topic of discussion? Because we always hear the word objectified or objectification as a negative. Especially, I think a lot of women might feel that way. I hate being objectified. I hate being seen as an object, being put in front of people and feeling a certain way. Yeah, did that become like a discussion at all?
It did. And that was kind of the thing that interested me the most, because in my journey, when I chose to become a dancer, I was interested in where this line of objectification fell and when it became positive and when it became negative. And every single dancer I interviewed had a totally different definition of what objectification was. A lot of them were like, I don't feel objectified at all. Some said they did and they found power in that. So that was one of the core questions that I was trying to answer. Did I answer you?
Yeah, of course, of course. That's
Okay,
yeah, that's
good.
so great to hear. Yeah, and I didn't know you're a dancer as well.
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
I've lived many lives.
That's great. Awesome.
Okay, so a question for Seresa 26.
I know there's many Seresa.
So many Seresas. So many Seresa. So where did you
26. Is this
find?
working?
It should be.
Hello?
We could hear you.
From up there. From the sky. Where did you find this woman? Where did you find her?
So Brandon, who's here as well, he's the producer of the film. We run a video production company, and we were doing videography for a festival called the Vines Art Festival. So Seresa, she's a pretty young performance artist, and she was commissioned to do some work there. So she performed that at the Vines Festival. And yeah, we just felt that she had, this great energy and like a real innocence to her. So yeah, we're really interested in her. And actually, it was more Brandon. I don't know if he wants to say anything about it, but he was the one that really had his eye on her and sort of found her as a subject.
Oh, really cool.
Awesome. Cool. We can also, if anybody has any questions as we go, we can open it up. Anyone?
Anyone so far?
Anybody out there?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll bring you a microphone.
Thanks so much. More of a comment again, just with Check. I found that especially the moment when she's on her bed, kind of in the fetal position, that really was a beautiful and very accurate portrayal of someone who was suffering. And that was just really well done and very tasteful and very moving as well. So thank you.
That's another. Oh yes. You wanted?
Oh, it's a fist
Oh, that
bump.
was a yeah.
A fist bump. Wonderful. I have a. Oh, is there a question?
Yeah. Get up there, Sarah. Go. Get it.
He has two questions.
So for the creator of Insomnia, is Insomnia here? Was there a specific night that was an inspiration for your film, or was it more a collection of different moments.
Unfortunately,
It was worth a shot.
yeah.
But the other question was for everything's great. What is the most difficult part of finding that balance in creating a script that is comedic? Are they not here as well?
They're not.
Excellent.
No.
Well, no more questions.
We let you finish both the story.
I just was
great
like,
question.
what is the question? Like, it's a good one. Okay. Is there another audience question? I saw a hand.
I thought,
Yeah,
yes,
one.
throw it down here.
Cheers. I guess my question is just for like everyone, and I have no idea how you would sort it out. But who felt like they were telling a story that was personal to them, and who felt like they were telling a story that was somebody else's story? Only because I think that's super interesting.
That's a great question. Where do you want to start? You start.
Okay. Okay. So I wrote Intimate Fears, and although the film was fictional, it was inspired by some of my own experiences. So it felt like a personal piece to me when I was writing in it.
Yeah, great.
Oh, I don't need it, but I'll take. I don't. My answer is similar in that it's not autobiographical, but I think hopefully it's sort of like my film is the bicycle movie, the little girl with the babysitter on the bicycle, and I think there's some parts that are universal. Hopefully, I just thought like caretakers leaving your life because they're not your parents can be somewhat relatable. So. Yeah, when I make movies, I try to draw on personal stuff, but also step away. So that's my answer.
Mine was based on my experience with OCD. So I have the obsessive part of OCD, which is something that I wanted to share with people because I know that a lot of people think that OCD is just tidying things up or cleaning things, and it's a lot deeper and scarier than I think a lot of people realize. So, yeah.
So obviously for mine, it was documenting Seresa's story, which was very personal to her, but I can relate to having sort of different personalities within me that I embody, and I think we probably all can.
Like I was saying before, this film came out of questions that I had when I entered the industry, the strip industry, but the butts started as a joke because I was like couldn't stop filming my own butt in slow motion and putting it to different songs, and I was like, this is literally the greatest art I've ever made. Like actually good for me. But that was before I was stripping, and then yeah, once I entered this idea of objectification, it was something that like I thought I understood becoming a dancer and thought that it was something I could capitalize on and wouldn't be painful in any way. But I actually found for me it was a lot more challenging to not get hurt by this extreme objectification. And the women that I met were like so strong and creative and totally didn't match up with the narrative that we're told about exotic dancers. And it raised so many questions. So basically it was conversations that I had, questions that I had for myself that I then posed to 9 dancers, and obviously I stuck with the butts because come on, you know why.
I have a couple questions. Oh, let's do some audience questions first, and then we'll get over there, Sarah. Come on.
This is Gloria's twin brother, I learned today. Twins.
Thanks for that. One small comment and one big question. First of all, as a fellow insomniac, it was almost certainly a bunch of collected experiences. And the big question is, I had a few interpretations myself, but I was wondering about the symbolism of in All Happened Before, the girl with the bike and the babysitter, what the symbolism of the nature documentary was. I mean, so because I could ramble about my interpretations, but yeah.
That's me.
Nelson is my twin brother. We haven't talked about this scene before, though. So for that, it's less about the nature documentary than the lions, but I think that's like the one part of the movie where we switched perspectives, and so it's sort of like related to power for me. So it's like the girls feeling, they're both sort of feeling powerless. Oh, you not done the answer. It's very typical. Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's like got a kid in her and she's thinking about the future, and then this lion's just eating. And so she's like, power, is it? So yeah. No.
Twin power.
As a producer, I'm really curious. Did you, like how you got the footage for that documentary? Like, I just stock footage. Nice. Anyways, it's good. No, it's great. Sorry.
But we filmed it on a 16 mil camera after the fact, so it's like a filter.
Cool.
I have a question. This is something Jamie and I wondered about when we watched Check. So, was that Taylor Hastings? Yeah. Taylor. Okay, so the makeup on Taylor, she had a makeup journey, and I was like, what is going on? What did that symbolize anything, or was that on purpose?
Both Taylor and Tracy had journeys with makeup and hair. So Tracy's hair is half up, half down at the beginning. It's down in her face when she's the worst, and up at the end to symbolize that she's open to the world. Taylor's journey is different with the makeup. The more that she's trying to like pretend everything's okay with her roommate, she puts on more and more makeup, and then at the end, I think she's just kind of like herself. Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah. Another question for Check. Was that filmed in your house?
That was filmed in 2 houses.
Okay.
So the cinematographer's house was my bedroom and the living room, and then the kitchen, just the kitchen. Well, the stove. And the stove. Yeah. That was in our production designer's house in East Van, which is a beautiful house. Yeah.
I was just thinking because of your strong connection, your relationship to OCD, wondering if maybe you've shot it in your own place, but interesting to know.
No, my boyfriend wasn't really into that idea. It didn't really cinematically, it didn't really fit.
Also, yeah.
So
cool.
I have that same question actually. When we were watching it on the big screen, I had that same question about your ladies. So we're all in different locations.
It was all shot in their homes. Yeah. And I kind of wanted to bring these sort of more sexual, performative dance moves that they were performing the job into their own homes and kind of create that tension. And I know I was making light of the butt thing, but it's really, to me, I realize it's like quite a loaded image and it's so prevalent in our culture. But for some reason, seeing these women in their homes dancing in this way with these words, it kind of can make people uncomfortable. It can challenge people's beliefs. And because I shot a lot of different things, I didn't just shoot their butts. And then I shot their faces. And to me, when I showed their face, the whole power of the piece was completely lost because you're just trying to match up the face with the voice. And I also wanted to kind of keep their identity secret as well, or more private, and not kind of reveal that. But yeah, it was shot all in their own homes. And a lot of the dancers were literally, about more than half were people I knew, and 4 or 5 of them were people that I just met online and reached out, and they'd never met me at all, and let me into their homes and just completely bared their souls to me. And it was an amazing experience making that film. Thank you.
Oh, in the back, yes. You could also, do you feel comfortable yelling, or would you like a microphone? Okay.
Good.
So it's kind of a question for all of you, but I'm just wondering, what is the most difficult part about taking the art that is in your mind and putting it into a tangible piece that other people are able to see on film?
Maybe we can start with you, and then we can go down.
Sure. I didn't really expect to be talking much, to be honest, because I'm just in the field of post-production, and it's,
Not
you know,
just.
it's all a very technical process, and you know, has an inevitable conclusion. It's the same. But anyway, I didn't have a hand in the creative process. I wasn't even on set. But what I liked about Tina's project was that it felt very personal to her, and it had a 3-act structure, which I thought was cool, and it felt like there was a theme at the core of it, and it was something that was very personal to her that she wanted to share, and I think she's brave for doing that, and I wanted to be a part of it. And I'm an editor first and foremost, but I had to learn a lot of stuff in terms of sound design in order to. I didn't do it entirely right. I screwed up a bunch of parts, and I had to do a bunch of last-minute fixes because actually, I mean, I could tell you all about noise reduction, but it's not really that exciting. But I went a little overkill at first, and I ended up undoing a lot of the work that I did. And but yeah, it's I'm very proud to be a part of it because Tina's a very genuine person and director, and yeah, I don't really know what else to talk about in terms of my part. I'll just hand it over to Amanda. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I think it's about the people and being able to support them. So again, when you have somebody come to you and say that they want to make a story that means a lot to them, and be able to help them in any way, something that I'm really grateful for is that once you've helped them shoot it, that they find people that are close to their souls and will help them finish it. And so I think really all parts of a film are the people that make it, and there's always that vision in that core. And I think everybody comes together, especially on something like this where Tina just wanted to make something, and everybody that was a part of that set was there just specifically for her. And that's really cool from a technical standpoint and from a creative standpoint to just come and make somebody's vision happen. So I think that's what filmmaking is all about. So
Thank you both of you. Thank you. I appreciate all of those kind words. Yeah, I agree with what Amanda just said. I think the most challenging part is just finding the right cast and crew, people who are willing to listen to you and are willing to work with you to help bring your vision to life. I was very fortunate to have such an amazing cast and crew help me out. These two wonderful human beings here. This movie would be impossible without them. So yeah, for me, it's just this was my debut short. And I think for me, just the biggest challenge was just finding the right people who are willing to kind of really step in and hear me out and help me out. And as you just heard John say, like he was so instrumental in post-production. Like we made this movie without literally any money. And for him to step up and try to sound edit for us when like that's not his specialty, it meant so much to me. And those are the types of people I hope that I can continue to work with, people who are willing to really commit to the project and really be there because they want to be there. So I was very fortunate.
When we shot, it snowed a lot unexpectedly, so that was hard. And luckily, like these guys said, we had parents driving in the snow from Langley in very scary conditions. Yeah, I had a really wonderful cast and crew and family who did lots and lots of stuff for free and for, yeah, I don't know. They gave me their resources. Also, when you make a movie, you have to send a lot of emails. And that is the hardest, just constantly sending emails. So that's hard. Snow and emails would be my two. And then, yeah, finding the people. I'm lucky to have a really good community. So, yeah, anyway.
My hardest thing is just getting the words out. And then it's funny because once you do that, things fall into place. Or that was my luckiness and that, yeah.
You were asking about the difficulty of bringing your vision to life, or I've lost track of the question. I was listening to their answers. Thank you. I actually think that I'm going to answer your question and your question, because as the director who's taking someone else's piece and doing that, I really wanted to see myself as the audience and put as much of myself into it as possible while still treating what Tracy was bringing with respect. And so I guess for me, it's always, I try to stand back and view it from an audience member and be like, am I feeling empathy for this person? Am I on board with this person? Do I at least feel something? And so I guess for me, everything is secondary to story and feeling and evoking empathy. So, and then yeah, a great team. It's important.
For me, this is probably the very first time I didn't take something that was in my head and make it tangible, because it wasn't in my head. This was actually Brandon's film at first, and I was coming to be a second shooter. And I got on set and just started to have a vision for this film. The plan wasn't to film Seresa after the piece. It was just to document the piece on video. But as I saw her interacting with her friends, I really saw something there. So Brandon, the producer, who's also my husband, was really kind and said, okay, take it. So it was a really incredible experience to just come and make something up that you hadn't really pre-planned.
I guess one of the biggest challenges is that I hate working with people. So I literally like shot it, did the sound, lit it, edited it, like did everything. And I should say as well that this piece was kind of envisioned as and has been shown as like a looping gallery installation. So it was a very different process than making like a more conventional narrative film. But yeah, I think it's like, I guess the challenging part is I'm an annoying person that doesn't like planning or working with other people. So that makes more work for me later. But it means I make very minimal work because, you know, I can't do that much stuff. So yeah. Okay, bye.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Amazing questions. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and all of the filmmakers. Many of them are not here. Everybody involved in the films, thank you so much for coming. Your answers were amazing. Hopefully we can all chat a little bit more later after this. So one huge hoot. No, just kidding. Round of applause for everybody and everything. This is great.